So for this skill, I made my A value 90 miles per hour, but the first thing I had to do was convert that into feet per second in order to make it work for this problem. So when I converted it, I got 132 feet per second, and decided to make my B value 300. So next I had to know the two equations that I would be using. The first one being x is equal to the initial velocity times cosine theta t, and y is equal to negative 16 t squared plus initial velocity sine theta t plus the initial height. So the next thing that I did is I plugged in the values that I made up in the very beginning into those two equations. I got 0 is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 132 sine theta t plus 3, and then also 300 is equal to 300 is equal to 132 cosine theta t. So next, what I did is for that second equation, I wanted to isolate t. So when doing that, I divided both sides by 132 cosine theta to get t to equal 300 divided by 132 cosine theta, which ended up simplifying to t is equal to 25 divided by 11 cosine theta. After that, I plugged in what I got for t into my first equation. So I had 0 is equal to negative 16 parentheses 25 divided by 11 cosine theta close parentheses squared, plus 132 times 25 over 11 cosine theta plus 3. So after that, I simplified where that square was, so I got negative 16 times parentheses 625 divided by 121 cosine theta. Next, after that, I went on and I simplified even more of that equation. Oh, and also, I was able to simplify that sine and cosine in the second part to get tangent of theta. So then in step 6, I knew since there was a cosine on the in the denominator that was going to be the same thing as secant squared. So and then I also distributed that negative 16, so I got negative 10,000 over 121 secant squared theta plus 300 tangent theta plus 3. So next, I knew that there was an identity for secant squared theta, which was secant squared theta is 1 plus tangent squared, sorry, 1, sorry, tangent squared theta minus 1. And since I knew that secant squared theta was being multiplied by negative 10,000, I had to multiply that 1 by that same negative 10,000. So I got negative 10,000 tangent squared theta minus 10,000 divided by 121 plus 300 tangent theta plus 3. So next I divided the values in the first part of the equation to get just to simplify it. So I got negative 82.645 tangent squared theta minus 82.645 tangent theta plus 300, negative 82.645 plus 300 tangent theta plus 3. And then I simplified that even more to get negative 82.645 tangent squared x plus 300 tangent x minus 79.645. Next, I plugged that into the quadratic formula so that I could solve for my x values. So that ended up being negative 300 plus or minus the square root of 300 squared minus 4 times negative 82.645 times negative 79.645 divided by 2 times negative 82.645. When simplified, I got x equal 2.2884 or 3.342. Finally, I plugged in those x values into inverse tangent to get my degree values. So I got the inverse tangent of 0.2884 to be 73.34 degrees, and the inverse tangent of 3.342 to equal 16.09 degrees, these are the possible angles needed in order for the ball to reach 132 feet per second and travel 300 feet when being hit 3 feet off the ground.